and they shut down, you know. Do you experience that right there? Because I know you help, high achievers and things like that. And I think do a lot of high achievers experience this imposter syndrome?
Oh, absolutely. And that's kind of sometimes where it's confusing, because you think of, how we collectively and culturally define success. Like, it's a lot of times the most successful people in our eyes are dealing and kind of really working hard at combating some of that internal turmoil and that imposter syndrome, because they are constantly taking risks and putting themselves out there. And I love how you were vulnerable and shared, like, just when you started the podcast, like, what if no one listens? What if this? What if this? And that too, if you really take a step back, like, that is the part of your brain, like the protective part, that's actually doing its job. It's coming in it's like working in overtime and giving you 10 bodyguards when you need one, but like, it's doing its job. But that's, once you have that realization of like, okay, this is the task of this part of my brain to overprotect me, to feed me a slew of what if scenarios that are incredibly overdramatic, and for me to be as prepared as I can. And that, though, if you're not aware of that and kind of almost validate those protective parts of you, and you're like, hey, you're working really hard, I appreciate you, but if you could scale back a little bit, so those parts of me that are confident, those parts of me that can access like stuff that I've done in the past, like, we may be able to recalibrate and actually do some good things. So I think it's amazing that you shared that, because I've definitely experienced that as an athlete, as a speaker, all the things. And it's learning how to soothe and work with that part of you, rather than kind of thinking, what the hell's wrong with me? Does anyone else experience this? And yes, it does. They do.
Yeah, I love how you put the 10 bodyguards. We only need one, because that's literally how my mind is. Like, I'm surrounded by my thoughts, and it's like I can't breathe sometimes. So it's just not. Sometimes it would feel like it's easier to just not do it than to face that anxiety or that pressure of actually doing it. And then like one of those bodyguards is telling you that you're going to fail, and you don't want to validate that bodyguard. Like, you're going to fail, right? If you do this, you're going to fail. And then if you have a slip up, you just validate that right there, and it can make you shut down right there. And I think a lot of people in this situation feel like they have to be perfect when they're taking on new tasks and whatnot. I know you specialize in, helping people, deal with the, how do I phrase this? Helping people deal with being perfectionists. Like how to help people stop being perfectionists. Is that where I'm going?
Yeah. Or just again, kind of looking at like perfectionism again. It's like, it's like anything, if there's too much or too little, it's like, we want to find that sweet spot. Right. And so it is like those perfectionistic tendencies, and maybe even just anxious thought patterns. They serve us well in a lot of ways. Like, they keep you going, they keep you pushing forward, they keep you productive. But when it comes in too strong, that's when we, get pushed out of the present and are too engulfed in the futuristic thinking or rehashing the past. And so many overthinkers and so many people with perfectionistic tendencies, myself included, I think we also get so fixated on what other people might be categorizing us as, or like the stamp that they're giving us, or if we say something or do something that's not maybe executed perfectly, that we've kind of ruined everyone's vision of us. And if you think about it, that's pretty egocentric in some respects. And we're really just in our own head. And I have to constantly remind people I work with, and myself on occasion, that like, nobody is thinking about you as much, even a fraction of how much you're thinking about yourself. Everybody's analyzing themselves and in their own heads. And I mean, how many times have we circled back with someone and said, about that email, or about how I said that, a year ago or whatever. And people are like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, people are not that in that cycle of overanalyzing as much as we are with ourselves. And sometimes that can be a very comforting thing to kind of soothe that part of us that is just very egocentric and wanting to execute and be on everyone's good graces.